Matt Rhule just spoke with the media for the last time until after the crucial Northwestern game this Saturday, and he had a lot to talk about, in particular 2 injury updates, some brand new information around Malcolm Hartzog, his status for the rest of the season. I'm going to give you my instant reaction, whether or not this is a good or bad decision. Rocco Spindler, his availability versus the Wildcats. How do we beat Northwestern in general? How do we avoid the upset? Matt Rhule talked about it, how practice went this week, and everything else you need to know, along with some big-time news that has been released over these past couple hours. A familiar face just entered the transfer portal a couple minutes ago, and Nebraska fans are already asking whether or not he will return to the Huskers. We'll talk about that. Some bowl game projections, recruiting news, a huge field change coming to the USC game next week, and a conversation at the end of the video. So really quick, hey, if you're on a good Thursday, because I know I am, hit that like button. And also, we are getting so close to 14,000 subscribers. We are 50 away. Hey, if you're a diehard Husker fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for daily content, talking to your favorite team, for updates just like this? It's no brainer. Takes 2 seconds. Join the family. Help us at 14K. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. I want to get things started with Matt Rhule's press conference from today because he had a lot to talk about in only a short amount of time. You got to get things started with the 2 injury updates. We'll start off with Malcolm Hartzog. Now, of course, Malcolm has been out since week 2. He got injured versus Akron. He was supposed to come back for the Michigan game, but of course got banged up that week of practice and has not been back ever since. He's been dealing with both a groin injury and a hamstring injury. And Matt Rhule's been saying almost every single week, oh, he's questionable, he's doubtful, oh, he won't play. We'll give him a go next week. And I told you guys over this past month, expect Malcolm Hartzog to be redshirted. There's a chance that he comes back for the final 2 games, maybe Penn State or Iowa. But the expectation, at least inside that building, Matt Rhule's having conversations about redshirting Malcolm Hartzog and bringing him back next year. And that is exactly what was officially released today by Matt Rhule, that he had surgery earlier in the week on his groin, that he will be out for the rest of the season. So he won't play in 2 games like we were speculating. He will not play in another game this season, and Malcolm Hartzog will return to Nebraska in 2026 to be one of our best defensive backs. So honestly, I really like this move. Yes, it hurts that Hartzog isn't coming back, but we've already adjusted, right? He hasn't played in basically a month and a half at this point in time. The secondary has struggled over these past couple weeks. Donovan Jones has struggled. Some of these depth pieces have struggled. Andrew Marshall did not play very well versus Minnesota, but still, Malcolm Hartzog, he isn't a perfect player himself, and I'm telling you right now, even if he were to come back this season, he wouldn't be 100% healthy. He would be only 70 or 80%. So this is good news that he's redshirted. Of course, if you guys have watched the channel, we revealed that a couple weeks ago. And it also should be mentioned that, next year's secondary, it's going to be pretty much wide open. We're losing all of our best players. Sear Wright will not be here next year. There's a chance Andrew Marshall won't be here next year. Marcus Buford will not be here next year. Deshaun Singleton will not be here next year. And then a bunch of transfers who we're not expecting, right? A lot of these depth pieces probably will transfer. That's just college football nowadays. So odds are this is going to be a brand new secondary with new players everywhere. It's important for the Huskers to have Malcolm Hartzog come back to be a leader and to ideally be one of the best players on this defense. So good decision there. We really won't miss him this year. Again, hopefully the Donovan Jones continue to progress, and hopefully even like Larry Tarver, Mario Buford, Amari Sanders continue to get more playing time, because we definitely have the talent. We have the talent to replace him. We just don't have the experience. That's for sure. So Malcolm Hartzog will not play in another game this year. He is officially redshirted. As for Rocco Spindler, some good news. He will officially suit up versus Northwestern. So again, I was completely wrong. I told you guys on Saturday, I expected him to be out for the season. Of course, he broke multiple ligaments, multiple bones in his hand. If he was in the NFL, he would be out for an extended period of time. It's funny how college football works. Again, they had him go to surgery immediately and say, you know what, you're coming back next week. So again, Rocco Spindler, he's as tough as they come. Again, I was talking with a couple subscribers who are in that field, in the medical field, and they said, yeah, they're definitely surprised that Rocco's coming back this early because there is a lot of bruising. There is a lot of swelling, obviously a lot of pain in that hand, as you'd imagine with him breaking multiple bones there. But Rocco Spindler will be back versus Northwestern. Hopefully play to the level that he was playing before he got injured. Because again, there's definitely a lot of pain there on that hand, as you'd expect. But he's toughening it out. He's one of the toughest players on this team. And obviously, this is a huge benefit for an offensive line that, frankly, is not getting any better. If anything, it's getting dramatically worse. So if Rocco Spindler were to be out for the rest of the year like we initially anticipated, yeah, our offensive line would be even worse than maybe the Minnesota game, because he was really the only one holding it down besides him and Henry Lateef. So Rocco Spindler, some good news. He will be playing versus Northwestern. As for the rest of Matt Rhule's press conference, he talked about how they practice at a very high level this week. We've heard this before. He said, and I quote, "The Huskers practice at a high level, understanding that what happened last week has to spur us going forward, that cannot happen again." So, and he also talked about that last week we did not practice very well, that looking back in hindsight, it's not too shocking that we got blown out because we were very lackadaisical. The team had an ego. They expect to roll in there to Minnesota and blow them out. So again, we can read in between lines. There's a lot to be disappointed with when it comes to this staff. Obviously, they didn't prepare for Minnesota as well as they should have. We've had that conversation before. As I've told you guys over these past couple of days, I'm tired about talking about Minnesota. It was obviously very disappointing. We put our final bow on it on Tuesday. We're all looking at Northwestern now because really it's how we respond. Not really talking about Minnesota anymore, but you got to go out there and beat Northwestern. If you lose that game, we got to have some even tougher conversations than what we've had this week. But again, good news that they practice at a higher level. But we've heard this too much with Nebraska coaches. They're like, oh, we practice at a high level. It's our best week of practice all year. And then they lay an egg. So we got to see it on Saturday. And then they also said Sear Wright will play nickel for the rest of the year. And Andrew Marshall and Donovan Jones will be our starting corners, which, again, that's the way it's been over these past couple weeks. But interesting that Sear is playing nickel. I honestly would rather have Sear out at boundary corner than have Donovan at nickel because I think Donovan's a better nickel than he is boundary. Or just, again, not have Donovan at all in the starting lineup because Donovan has been, again, barbecue chicken the last 3 weeks. Opposing offenses have been going after him constantly because he's inexperienced and frankly just not playing well. In man coverage, zone coverage, he's not tackling a high level. But again, Matt Rhule confirmed once again today that Donovan Jones will start versus the Wildcats. So it is what it is. All right, that was Matt Rhule's press conference. Talked about how it's going to be a rock fight, going to be a close ball game versus Northwestern. We'll talk about that at the end of the video, but I want to get into some news that was released over these past couple hours. In particular, Jaylen Lloyd. It was just announced that he has entered the transfer portal coming out of Oklahoma State. Now, of course, he left Nebraska in December, went over to Oklahoma State. He talked a little bit of crap on his way out. He said that, the reason why he left Nebraska, he loved Nebraska, but he left because he felt like he was never going to get a fair opportunity. He felt like the coaching staff was not doing him justice. The coaching staff was not playing him as much as he deserved, and he thought he'd get a better opportunity at Oklahoma State. Well, as you can see on your screen, that was not the case. Now, again, I'm not completely doubting Oklahoma State's program. I'm not sure why he wasn't playing. That's, again, one of the worst teams in the country. If he's not playing Oklahoma State, that's probably a reflection on him, not necessarily how talented that receiver core is. So, again, wish Jaylen Lloyd the best of luck. We'll see where he lands. As for him coming back to Nebraska, no, he's not. He's not coming back to Nebraska. And again, I'm a big Jaylen Lloyd fan. I was screaming last year he should play a lot more because whenever he's on the field, he makes a play. He's incredibly speedy. He's incredibly elusive. He was great in every single aspect besides blocking. And yet, again, he never played because we put in guys like Isaiah Nayer, who was not good, or Jamal Banks, who was not good. So I do agree with Jaylen Lloyd that he left because he probably wasn't going to get a fair shake from the coaching staff. But, if you can't succeed at Oklahoma State, maybe that's a reflection on you. So Jaylen Lloyd, he'll transfer probably to a lower division school. But as for the people saying, he should come back to Nebraska, yeah, no, he is not coming back to the Huskers. As for a couple other bits of news, it was released by the NCAA that the 5-for-5 eligibility rule is not coming to the sport. So basically what this is there was a memo that was coming out that colleges and football programs and basketball programs, they were expecting the NCAA to pass a rule that meant every single player has 5 years of eligibility, not 4, that there's no redshirting anymore. And again, that was the expectation. A lot of people were expecting this to happen in the NCAA, so that's not happening anytime soon. So again, I think this is good news. I despise nowadays in college football that there's 26, 27-year-olds playing. That should not happen. So again, this may come into college football at some point, but not anytime soon. And this is a good thing for Nebraska. I think this is just a good thing for entirely the sport. So just wanted to put that on your radar. Saw this just a couple minutes ago, bowl game projections. Nebraska is still projected to make a bowl game. I know everybody's, freaking out for we lost to Minnesota, but we're still going to make a bowl game. We're probably still going to win 7-8 games at the very minimum. And they expect us to play Tennessee now in the Music City Bowl. I wouldn't mind that. Again, I told you guys, I would not mind playing an SEC team, whether it's Oklahoma, I want to play Texas, I want to play Tennessee, Missouri. I wouldn't mind playing Tennessee, especially because we were supposed to play them next year, and we ended up canceling that game because of stadium renovations. The stadium renovations that aren't happening because Troy Dane lied to our faces about how I wish Troy just said, hey, we're canceling the Tennessee game because we're scared to play them and rather play an easy opponent and get a free win. I just wish he said that. I wish he was honest, but he wasn't honest about it. Again, we've already talked about that, but I wouldn't mind playing Tennessee. We played, I believe, Tennessee in the Music City Bowl. What was it, back in 2016 with Riker Fife at quarterback, and we got absolutely blown out. So, hey, maybe we can get revenge from basically 10 years ago. Also, Nebraska just offered a brand new 26 linebacker, Aiden Reeder, who's committed to Wisconsin. As we always talk about, again, when we offer somebody this late in the process, literally about 1 month until signing day, it means Nebraska's trying to push hard to get them to flip. So Aiden Reeder, he's a borderline 4-star. I was watching this film. Again, he has some nice speed to him, has some nice explosiveness, can play all over the defense. Again, you look at the offer list as well. You got Michigan in there, you got Kentucky, you got Indiana. So, I mean, this is somebody who clearly has high upside, was committed to Wisconsin. He's not going to stick with Wisconsin, let's be real. Once they fire Luke Fickell in these next couple weeks, it's going to be mass exodus from that program. And I expect Nebraska to get involved, not only multiple decommits, but also players who enter the portal from Wisconsin as well. So just watch out for Aiden Reeder. Might be coming on a visit maybe next week for USC, if not the Iowa game. And then a couple other things here. Recruiting, Tavian Branch will be visiting for the Iowa game, so not this weekend. This is a defensive line commit who's currently with Penn State. He'll be visiting Maryland, Ole Miss, and Nebraska. Nebraska will be his final visit. And I do think the Huskers right now are the odds-on favorite to flip him. So again, some defensive line help hopefully coming soon. Then Troy Dane revealed on the radio, I believe just 2 days ago, that Nebraska is going to go all out for the USC game, not this week, but next week. There's going to be black towels for the student section, plus some other surprises. So what I'm expecting, honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if Nebraska tries to go a complete blackout with the field. So again, you have black end zones, you have, potentially a black end in the middle, you have, black decals all over the stadium. I think that would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think, it's the same thing we talked about last week. Like if you're gonna do the pink thing, the pink helmets, you might as well go all out. Might as well have pink uniforms as well, like pink accents on the uniforms, not actually pink uniforms. Okay, if you want to do this right, you got to go all out. So I like Nebraska doing the all black, but why not have a black field? I think maybe that's what he's hinting at. So I think that would be pretty cool. Again, that's not confirmed. Again, we revealed 4 or 5 months ago on the channel that we're doing a blackout before they all talked about this. So I knew that for a fact that we were doing a blackout when we revealed that on the channel. I don't know that we're for a fact that we're doing, black field, but that's just me speculating. But I think that'd be pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts down below if you want a black field. Or again, somebody said crossbones on the 50. Hey, that'd be pretty sick too. I wouldn't mind that. Do something cool, man. At the end of the day, this is going to be on national television. It's a night game, NBC, 6:30. Recruits going to be watching this. Might as well be cool. Might as well go all out because what's the harm? What's the harm the program could have at this point? And then final stuff here talking about Northwestern. Yeah, man. I mean, this is a game that will define the rest of our season. It really will. I mean, I told you guys, we'll talk about this more tomorrow in my prediction video. If we lose this game, there is a real possibility Nebraska lose us out. I mean, really. I mean, this is about as easy as it gets. I know Northwestern on an upward trajectory. They're 5-2, but still, they have a lot of flaws in their team, as we're going to talk about tomorrow. But if we win this game, we could still salvage what's left of our year. If we beat Northwestern, we could still beat USC. We could beat UCLA. Hey, we could still end 10-2 at the very worst, maybe 9-3. So this is kind of a catalyst game, make or break your entire year. I've been thinking a lot about my prediction. I think I've come up with something. I've been going back and forth. I'm not going to lie with you. I've been thinking Nebraska might win, then thinking Nebraska might lose. I've come up with my prediction. I'll say again, it's a hot take. Well, I'll spoil it. It's gonna be a close game. Well, you'll have to see for tomorrow if Nebraska will beat Northwestern. My prediction for that one. So that'll be released about 9 o'clock Central in the morning. Nebraska versus Northwestern. But I'll tell you what. It's going to be a rock fight. We know that for sure. It's going to be a sloppy ball game. It's going to be multiple turnovers, whether it's by Northwestern or by us. We're going to have missed opportunities. We're probably going to show a lot of flaws like we did versus Minnesota. You can't fix everything overnight. The offensive line's probably still going to struggle, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to whether or not Nebraska can make a big-time play, when the ball game gets tight in the fourth quarter, final possession. And if you believe Nebraska, if you trust this offense, you trust this defense is going to stop, then you think Nebraska's going to win. If you don't trust this team in that aspect, then you think Nebraska's going to lose. So it's going to be a tight ball game, man. That's all I know. So again, I'll have my official prediction be released tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Just be there for it because it will be a big one. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about everything. Hey, if you made this far, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, it's going to be good. Go Met Rule, and I'll see you in the next one.